So, just the other week, I made a semi-viral tweet on the platform formerly known as Twitter, at CDTVProductions by the way, about never hearing good writing in an AI rap song. Many people agreed with that take, but there were a few replies pointing me to certain AI rap songs that are allegedly good, so I thought why not just listen to a bunch of them and see if any of them are half decent. Not just in terms of the writing, but let's also see if any of this shit even sounds half good, because let's be honest, most of it probably doesn't. So let's see.
When it's cold, where I'm from, they try enemy. I swear to when it's cold, where I'm from, they try to sentence me, okay?
Now, these AI songs can generally be put into a few different categories, so the ones that I'm going to be starting with here are the ones that are meant to sound like full features or songs from existing musical artists, aka the most morally questionable ones. Now, I can see how it would maybe be a sort of fun creative writing exercise to see how well you could write in the style of someone else, how well you can replicate their sound and all that kind of stuff, but for me, it starts to become scummy when you try and pass it off as an official release, just tricking people into thinking that it's real. Which brings me to our first track, First Day Out Freestyle Part 2 by Rundown Spaz and Kanye West. This song genuinely had people debating whether or not it's a real Kanye verse, and that scares me. Look how the artist himself, Rundown Spaz, responded to XXL asking if the Kanye verse was real.
But is the Kanye verse real?
Of course.
That's a real Kanye verse, it's not artificial intelligence?
No. Tell me.
Yeah, that shit is 100% AI. To me, the dead giveaway was the fake Kanye verse having a Thanos snap line at the start in 2023.
Mix gospel with chat, I fucking Thanos snap.
Or him saying, all rap can suck my ball sack. Or just the fact that it comes off as a Kanye fan fiction verse. Or the fact that it starts horribly.
America kiss my balls. Pause.
Why did he say pause after the beat kicked back in? That just feels really weirdly placed. Sure, a couple of the flows sound very Kanye-esque, and there are some bars in here that I could see being ones that Kanye would actually use, but the personality that usually comes along with the speaker of these words, the character that is usually in Kanye's voice, is just so clearly not here. Most of it is just general Kanye pop culture references, someone cosplaying as him in musical form, and to me, it just feels kind of soulless. And AI Kanye rapping over a beat that samples power just feels very on the nose. Again, that doesn't feel like something Kanye would do. I don't think he revisits old tracks in his career all that much, especially such popular ones. So that is another thing that points to this clearly being fake. I mean, just listen with a half-decent pair of headphones and you'll see how choppy and weird the vocals sound.
Illuminati took my wife, made me wanna take my life. Bitch, I threw away my ice, and you know I'll pay that they won't, yay.
Now, it is worth pointing out here that a lot of these AI rap songs aren't entirely computer generated like some people think that they are. In a lot of cases, a human does write down these lyrics to try and imitate a well-known artist. That human then records the vocals themselves, much like I'm doing right now into this microphone, and then the AI part comes in when they use essentially a vocal filter to change their voice to sound like Drake or Travis Scott or Kanye West, for example. So there actually is a fair bit of human input here. It's just the general idea of trying to imitate another artist to such an extent, and then again, sometimes passing it off as official releases, that comes off as kind of trashy. So that brings us to our next couple of tracks from an artist who is much more open about the fact that his tracks are AI songs. Ghostwriter. He probably has one of the most popular AI songs with Heart on My Sleeve by Drake and The Weeknd. And I'm gonna be real, I've seen people overhyping this track way too hard sometimes. I just do not get some of the love I've seen for it. The beat, which was allegedly produced by Ghostwriter as well, despite him cheekily throwing Metro Boomin's producer tag at the start of the song, sounds horrible. A simple, annoying piano loop, obnoxiously mixed 808s, it just sounds so cheap. And I think the fact that the 808s are so loud is kind of used to mask the flaws in the AI vocals. At least that's how how it comes across to me.
I came in with my ex like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber.
And as a white boy myself, it 100% feels like a white boy wrote these lyrics. My whitey senses are tingling. You know when you hear some lyrics and you can just tell? It's the most amateur imitation of Drake and The Weeknd's songwriting, and clearly Ghostwriter cannot hit the same type of notes that The Weeknd can because his AI verse on here sounds so bad.
Got these girls on my neck, got these girls on my check, like Selena, baby, on my Gina, baby, yeah.
Just absolutely soulless once again, and it kills off any potential enjoyment I could have of listening to this track. And if you want a real laugh, Ghostwriter released a no AI version of this song, which most artists would just call a song, because he wanted Heart on My Sleeve to be Grammy eligible. So this is how the Weeknd verse sounds in Ghostwriter's original voice with no AI processing on it.
Got these girls on my neck, got these girls on my neck, like Selena, baby, on my Gina, baby, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that Grammy nomination is coming, bro. Ghostwriter has also released a second song, or at least a snippet of one, on TikTok called Whiplash by 21 Savage and Travis Scott, and it's just not great, man. I guess the Travis Scott section sounds okay if you're trying to imitate his most uninspired sounding features and songs, but why would I want to hear someone else emulating Travis's weaker features?
But I never been so alive, yeah. Whiplash.
And the 21 part just has the corniest lyrics imaginable.
She a 9 plus 10, yeah, you know that equal 21. Savage big in a rap, it's a brand, keep it running.
Again, it's a Travis Scott and 21 Savage song with no heart. And so the final one I decided to check out for this section is another fake Drake track called Winter's Cold, because it's another one that people said was actually good. It's not really that great though. You guys know I'm not the biggest modern Drake fan, but even then, I probably still would rather listen to a lot of the actual songs from his past 3 albums rather than an AI Drake song. Again, some of the flows here are pretty accurate. This is probably one of the more accurate imitation AI sounding tracks that I have heard. I'll give it credit for that.
Keep that 30 on the seat, it's you like Curry with the left hand. Yeah, ballin' so damn hot, I made a Def Jam.
But once again, the experience of listening to it just feels empty. That's what really gets me about it. All of these feel so cold and lifeless. Maybe I don't see the vision, but as someone that really has a love for music and loves seeing how songs apply to an artist's wider discography and how it builds their character further, it's just hard for me to find any joy in these soulless, empty sounding imitations that have no impact on an artist's current discography. These are the worst uses of AI for music in my opinion. They generally all suck to different levels because they're just not legit and they can never have the impact that a genuine song can have. Now, this category, this one is a little bit more enjoyable for me. When I ask people if they've ever heard any enjoyable AI music, a lot of people pointed to the YouTube channel known as Glorb, and just by looking at the thumbnails, you know exactly what you're gonna get right here. And Glorb stuff is kinda great. As far as I'm aware, Glorb is another example of somebody writing the lyrics, recording the vocals with their own voice, and then using AI to transform it to sound like something or somebody else, but this is way more acceptable to me because it's a more comedic and parody use, and it's not trying to imitate or replace existing musical artists. It's taking TV characters and making songs that they would never make, which provides a whole lot of entertainment value. To me, that marks a significant difference. It's more transformative than the imitation tracks. Not to mention, a lot of these just somehow sound way better and cleaner.
Know that she a stand, so I gotta keep shining. Sipping red rum like cool brick.
I wouldn't be surprised if Glorb is a person or group of people who have music industry experience, because this is some of the clearest sounding AI music I've ever heard, and a lot of the production is great too. You can't tell me the hook of STD by Dankton doesn't go hard, bro.
We should blame by the leader like yeah, cooking cake crab on the stove with a formula.
Sandy the Squirrel on actually goes hard as hell too. Like, I can't hate on these. They're super entertaining.
I'm geeked up like I'm DDG. I hit you blocking every corner like a fucking DVD.
They actually have funny bars as well. Like, for parody songs, they're pretty well written. So yeah, Glorb is pretty great. Another one that fits into this category is one that I got sent during one of my paid request live streams recently. Now would be a great time to mention that they happen every Monday around 1 PM EST. Be there, you can send me in absolutely anything. And it was a Patrick Star cover of Glimpse of Us by Joji. This got me pretty good, man.
She take the world off my shoulders, because sometimes I look in her eyes, and that's where I find a glimpse of us.
Now this one is using an artist's existing song, but it's another one that I can enjoy more because, again, it's a very entertaining use of it, and it's more of a novelty use. It's never something that I would listen to more than Joji's original track, you know? It's more just a funny alternative to throw on every now and then for a good laugh, but it's not trying to outshine Joji's version or anything like that. Everything I've covered here is a way more suitable and enjoyable use of AI as far as I'm concerned. And speaking of AI covers, actually, that brings us around to our last category.
Passion lit from miles away. Passive with the things you say.
So AI cover songs themselves generally have two different styles that they go for. There's ones like the Glimpse of Us Patrick Star cover, Mr. Krabs doing Rap God, and then there's the ones that use AI to change the artist performing the song, whether it's Kanye doing Passion Fruit by Drake, or Lil Uzi Vert doing Throwaway by Future. That last one I mentioned actually works surprisingly well, by the way.
Do you feel better when I left? Mark my words, I'm a power that I came home last night to a menage.
Again, these are ones to me that are slightly more interesting. It seems like another fun use of AI, and one that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just more so like, what would this song sound like with Lil Uzi Vert vocals, or what would this song sound like with Drake vocals, or Patrick Star vocals? It's another thing where I'll go on YouTube, listen to a couple of them, but they're never gonna replace the original versions of these songs for me. I feel like the intent really matters to me with AI made tracks, and these ones just seem like a very simple, fun use of it. The only ones that are maybe a little bit off-putting to me are the ones that use deceased artists for AI covers, like Juice WRLD or Pop Smoke. There's just something about that that's maybe a little bit uncomfortable to me, but otherwise I think it's innocent enough. In saying that, I can't lie, the AI Juice WRLD cover of Rap Star by Polo G works extremely well. Like, it just straight up sounds like a Juice WRLD song.
I ain't joking, do it sound like I'm kidding. I've been making like 2,000 a minute. So high up through the clouds, I was swimming. Bet she gon' get loud. We might have a shout. I don't read it.
These are generally nothing mind-blowing, nothing groundbreaking. They're just slightly interesting alternative versions of tracks that don't pretend to be anything greater than they are. The AI covers, to me, are alright. So to wrap that all up, it's really the straight up imitation AI tracks that suck the most to me. They try to replicate other artists while having none of the lived experience that that artist has, so none of that can really bleed into the lyrics. The parody AI tracks are a lot better to me because they're sort of in their own niche, they just don't feel as seedy as the imitation ones. They're fun, somewhat transformative in a lot of cases, and honestly more creative than a lot of the poorly written AI imitation tracks. The covers, while the most simplistic to make, I would assume, and arguably the least creative, are fun little experiments that shouldn't be taken too seriously and can be entertaining in small doses. But hey, That's my take on these 3 different categories of AI music. Let me know what you think about each of these categories down in the comments below. I'll be interested to see the variety of responses I get on this one. And you can click here on the screen to see me talk about great beat switches in real rap songs. Thank you so much for watching. Much love to my Patreon supporters and channel members over here, with a special shout out to Griffin Upchurch, I Am Regent, KWG13270, Lucas1123, and Not Vimpen.